let's talk about knives.
Now, knives, just like humans, come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But the question I'm here to answer today is, why is a knife like this so much more expensive than this one? And is it even worth it to get this expensive knife when there are options like this one out there? Let's get right into it. Both these knives I have before me are very similar, except this one's a Benchmade and this one is a Buck. They both have a very similar blade shape, mostly, and they both have rubber handles. The biggest difference between these two knives is the steel that they're made out of. The Buck right here is made out of 420 HC steel, while the Benchmade is made out of CPM S30V steel. As I mentioned earlier, this $50 Buck knife is made out of 420 HC steel. There's more to it than just the goofy name. Now, what this name is referring back to is the elements which are in this knife steel. The HC that is in the name, 420 HC, stands for high carbon. If you've ever looked at a periodic table, you'll know that carbon is an element on there. Carbon is often added to knife steels. Actually, I got a cool idea. Sweet. Carbon is usually added to knife steels to make them stronger than they already are.
Yeah.
Now, the downside to carbon is that usually it makes a knife more brittle. And because it makes it more brittle, you have to add in other elements that balance out the brittleness. Now, if you're like me and you're kind of stupid when it comes to elements in knife steels, this is an oversimplified version of it. Now, every element that's added to a knife steel has a positive effect and has a negative effect, which is why you will add more than just carbon to a knife steel, because you have to balance out the carbon. An example of this would be chromium. Chromium helps balance out carbon by making the steel less brittle, but this also makes the steel softer. But as I mentioned earlier, carbon makes the steel harder, so that balances out. Additionally, chromium will add extra edge retention and, more importantly, corrosion resistance to the iron base, which all knife steels are made of. Now, that's a very oversimplified version of it. You can get a lot deeper into chemicals and knife steels if you want, which I've done before, and it's a never-ending rabbit hole that will take you very dark places you might not want to go. Essentially, what this means is that S30V, because it has a better makeup chemical-wise than 420 HC, means it's going to be stronger, it's going to have better edge retention, it's going to have better wear resistance, and it's going to be a lot better at resisting corrosion, so it's not going to rust. Now, if you're a good listener, you probably caught that I said CPM before I said S30V when I told you what steel this knife is made of. Now, for the sake of oversimplification and the fact that I don't want to make this video too long, let me put what crucible particle metallurgy does in simple terms. S30V by itself is U. CPM S30V is U off gas station Rhino pills and honey packs. Now, I'm simply making the point that S30V is a better steel than 420 HC. This doesn't necessarily mean that 420 HC is a bad steel. This Buck 110, which has probably skinned more deer than any other knife known to mankind. In fact, your grandfather has probably skinned at least 5 or 6 deer with this thing. I'm not entirely sure this isn't the knife that was used to circumcise Abraham. Regardless of the history of this knife, this doesn't mean it's a bad knife steel. This just means you're going to have to do more touch-up work to its blade, and you're going to have to be more aware of what you do with your knife. You can't get away with treating this thing like shit. The only difference between these some cheap knives and expensive knives is handle material and how handles feel. This is a SOG Kiku. It has micarta handle scales, which is a very, very durable material. And additionally, this is grippy. You know, the cutouts in the handle and the knurling right here. No, it's not knurling. That's technically incorrect. The jimping, yeah, right there, makes this thing a lot easier to hold, right? This knife is made to fit in your hand, especially if you have big hands. The Buck knife has a rubber handle, but this one in particular especially has given me blisters. It's a very small handle, and it's just kind of hard to hold on to. It's not terrible, it'll fit in your hand, but again, just with how the budget is with this knife, it just isn't as good as more expensive knives. To put it simply, knives that are more expensive generally have better handles because the people that made them put more time into designing the handle so it won't hurt you. Last thing we got to talk about is sheaths. We're going to compare a $15 knife sheath and a $300 knife sheath. This $15 knife sheath, it's plastic, right? I mean, there's no fancy way of putting it. It's plastic. It's kind of loud. Maybe if you like to make beats or something. It's an extremely simple design, right? It's got a little clip here. It's easy to go on your belt. It's a very like easy knife, which is the best way I could probably put it. It's an easy knife design. It's an easy sheath design, right? You just put it right in there. You just put it in and you're good to go. It's an okay sheath. I'm kind of carving pieces off of it though. It's not super durable, but you know what? It holds the knife and the knife won't cut you. There is one issue though, and that's the issue. Now let's look at the $300 knife sheath. Now this one holds the knife quite a bit better. I'm not gonna do that for a while because I don't want to tear up the sheath on this thing. It's actually a really nice sheath. It has 2 belt loops on the back here. It is kind of a little bit sad you can't just clip this onto your belt like you can with this one. But you know what? That's the price you pay. But if you just look at it, compared to the other knife sheath, yeah. I mean, just look at it. Hold on. Let me show you one more time. You just put it in there and then it just holds it there. Also, this has holes in it, so you could lash this to something. This is something you hear a lot. You hear people talking about like, oh, well, you can lash this sheath to something. You can lash this sheath to your backpack. You can tie a little knot and tie it to your belt loop. You tie a little knot and put it around your... I don't know what they're talking about. I have never in my life that I can remember lashed a knife sheath to anything at all. I cannot for the life of me ever think of a time that I've been like, I'm gonna lash my knife sheath to my backpack. You can't reach it. Usually it's a pain in the ass to unlash. It's just, I've done it for like jokes, but honestly, there are so many better things you could be doing with your time than lashing your knife sheath to something. Now, if you like to lash things for some reason, that's your thing. You just really like it. We're all a little weird. This is the knife sheath for you. Dude, the swamp ass out here is getting real. Folding knives are a little bit different. Folding knives don't come with sheaths most of the time. So instead what we're gonna look at is locking styles. With folding knives at least, is the tolerance and how much it wiggles side to side. Usually expensive knives do not wiggle side to side or front to back. A good folding knife, when you flick it open, it is solid at this top piece. I usually have to tighten the screw on this one. This particular knife was, I think, around $100. I usually have to end up tightening that screw with an Allen key, which technically is not what you're supposed to use, so it's a little bit stripped out right now, but it works, so piss off. It's just something you'll notice. Like the Buck 110 is a very, very solid knife all the way around, side to side, front to back. The Buck 110 is around today for good reason. It's because it's a good knife and it's not ridiculously expensive. Actually, it probably is now, but it didn't used to be ridiculously expensive. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this video up now. In conclusion, the things that make knives better than others and the difference between a cheap knife and expensive knife is going to be the blade steel, the blade material, the lock type / sheath, and what's the last one? The blade steel, the handle, the sheath / locking system, and then just, I guess I would say, overall usability of the knife. You know, some knives are going to tear up your hands and give you a bunch of blisters. Don't have soft hands, you know. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's the end of the video, guys. I mean, like, I don't have anything else to tell you. I honestly have nothing else to tell you, people. Get out of here. To put it simply, knives that are more expensive Usually, the people that created them took more time in designing the handles so that you don't get blisters. Fuck you!